Research? Research, not alcohol and lavish reviews, is the proper fuel for writers. Unless one is writing pure fantasy, some amount of research is likely to help or be necessary, even for a travel romance, space fiction, or historical novel. Some writing projects, like scholarly articles and technical bulletins, may be virtually all research-based. Other projects, like informational web content or a book on spirituality or self-improvement, may require a solid balance of research and writing. That measurement can be one of the first things that a writer must consider when taking on a new project. How much research is necessary, appropriate, and helpful? The writer who misses that mark, and either lards with research citations a writing that should instead have been topical, or treats with opinions and surmises a writing that should instead have included substantial research support, fails the project. Understand the goal and purpose of each writing project so that you can make an appropriate judgment of its research needs. Libraries. As the story at the beginning of this chapter illustrates, research can involve varying methods. The old-fashioned method involved travel to a library, looking through card catalogs and walking up and down rows of shelving to find the exact volume. Medical offices, law offices, engineering firms, and other firms of any size even maintained their own physical libraries, where the professional could sit to peruse volumes pulled from the shelves. A writer might take advantage of an in-office library, frequent a main library, and visit other specialty libraries to research and write on those specialty subjects. Libraries remain important research resources. Some resources, especially older books with limited readership, are not online. Perusing library print collections can also help a writer understand the nature, breadth, depth, quality, and relationship of research sources, while leading to fortuitous discoveries. Print catalogs and digests can also help a writer locate materials that search phrases in a web browser would not. Libraries can also offer free use of print collections that would require an expensive database subscription online. Writers can also order print materials that are not available locally through interlibrary loans. Value your nearby libraries as research resources. Librarians. Librarians may be able to offer you substantial research support. Librarians do more than catalog new books, check out materials to borrowers, and reshelve returned books. Many libraries employ skilled reference librarians, available to the public for research help. Librarians can be especially helpful in getting a writer pointed in the right research direction, for instance to the best digests, digest topics, and even to online databases searchable at the library or remotely from your office or home. Librarians can also help direct a writer to better resources than the writer is currently using. If you frequent a certain library with a helpful reference librarian, or if the employer for whom you work employs a librarian, you may find that you can develop a close enough working relationship with the librarian to have the librarian help you with the research itself. Nothing beats having a library liaison set aside a stack of relevant books for you or send you a list of relevant electronic links. Make a friend of a librarian. They can speed, improve, and ease your research. Online. Today, writers tend to accomplish the bulk of their research through online resources. On many projects, a writer can do a creditable or better job of researching using solely online resources. A search using your favorite web browser's search engine may be enough to turn up the sources you need. The algorithms that web browser search engines use, though, may prioritize popular websites, turning up helpful information, but linked only to private entity websites that interpret other original sources. You may not immediately reach the original source you might prefer or need to cite. The secondary sources that you reach may link to the original sources you want, but also may not. Writers seeking original studies, original works, and other scientific or scholarly sources generally access either free online general research databases, like JSTOR or Google Scholar, free specialty research databases like PubMed and FastCase, available free to state bar members, or a subscription specialty research database like ScienceDirect or Westlaw. Once you determine your research needs and the authorities your writing assignment requires that you cite, ensure that you are using the right browser, search engine, or database to access that authority. Sources. As just suggested, the sources on which you rely for a writing project, especially the sources you cite as authoritative, generally depend on the type of writing and field in which you write. Skilled and experienced writers doing scholarly or technical research in a certain field know the authority that they must research, locate, and cite. Legal writing, for instance, typically requires that the writer cite the specific constitutional provision, statute, regulation, or case law supporting what the writing asserts. Citing a law firm's website or even an article in a law practitioner journal might not suffice for authority. Medical writing may, for another instance, require citing medical studies published in one of the several National Institutes for Health online databases, which include PubMed, NIH Reporter, and the National Library of Medicine, or better yet, in a leading medical journal like the New England Journal of Medicine, the Lancet, or the Journal of the American Medical Association. Learn from a mentor or review similar writings published in your field to get to know the sources you may cite as authoritative in your specialty writing field. Reliability. Your writing may alternatively require that you make your own general judgments about the reliability of the sources that your writing cites. You may not be writing in a scholarly or technical field, and your employer or client may not specify the preferred research sources. In that instance, you may benefit from following a general hierarchy of authority. For instance, prefer original over secondary or interpretive works. Don't cite website commentary that quotes or summarizes a law, rule, or regulation, or even a book or article. If you can instead locate and cite the original law, rule, regulation, book, or article. For another example, prefer government sources over private sources, unless others routinely rely on and cite a private source that functions like a government clearinghouse. Don't cite a law firm's website for authority, when you can instead cite the original statute or regulation on which the firm's website itself relies. For another example, prefer citing an article that appears in a scholarly journal over an article that appears in a magazine or on a private website. For yet another example, prefer citing an empirical study over a conjectural article. To strengthen your writing, routinely consider the reliability of the sources that you cite. Citation. When you find research material that you believe you may cite in the writing for which you are researching, ensure that you save the citation to the material, along with whatever quote or other content that you excerpt. Don't make yourself go hunting again for the citation of material that you've already researched once. Different writings follow different citation conventions. Learn the citation convention for the writings on which you work. Following the wrong citation conventions may get your writing rejected or cause a lot of extra work for you or your editors. Writings published in specific journals following the citation form of the Writing Standards Manual that the journal's editors have adopted. Writings published in law journals, for instance, generally follow the Blue Book, a uniform system of citation. Writings published in medical journals, for another example, generally follow the AMA Manual of Style or the ICMJE recommendations. The Chicago Manual of Style, MLA Handbook, and Associated Press Style Book are leading writing standards manuals for general citation form outside of specialty journals. But many writings follow simpler, non-standard conventions. The website for which you write web content, for instance, may only require that you electronically link words or phrases directly to your online source, without including any citation, for a cleaner, shorter, more accessible, and frankly more useful style. Learn and follow your writing citation conventions. Thanks for watching. Get more tips plus illustrations, summaries, and reflection questions in the print or digital guide at the link in the description.